Remember, please hit like and subscribe for me. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go. Hi, everyone. Today's Thursday, July the 10th. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. We've had quite a few aggressive moves in the metals overnight, as well as a very large spike liquidation sort of thing going on in oil, but it is coming into a frontline support zone that we suspect is going to hold. If not, oil's going to go much lower. But that's the big news. Today we've got the jobs report coming in about 30 minutes. Wanted to start at the 4-hour chart so we could see what this price action looks like. We are still range bound. Traders are collecting inventory, likely for a big blast off to the top. Dips remain buy zones. Ideal dips look like around 6,260 in the ES. You want to mark that one down. And breakaway formations look like about 6,320. Let's go to the hourly chart. I have moved the position markers off because, once again, I get feedback that my charts are very cluttered, and I really want to clean that up, make decision making just a bit easier for us. So here's the thing, remember, it's always old resistance, new support, gives us the best bets that we have when markets are sideways like that, and we take old resistance as new support for a buy zone pressure event. We take it into the next area of resistance and we cover the trade. If it happens to break out, that's great, but we need to wait for a retest of old resistance becoming new support before action gets very much more compressed in our favor. All right, that being said, let's hop on. Opening range high, 6,312. Opening range low, 6,303.50. We lost the floor of it. Opened up a short into old resistance, right? So if you take a look at this and you go sideways, okay, I'm trading the range. Top of the range here, I can take the low of the opening candlestick formation short, heads me into support, that's old resistance. Cover the trade, moves back into long formation if you want to trade both sides of the trend. What is our moving average doing? Showing everything that is very likely. We are extremely sideways in our motion. I have a long in platinum I need to close. Hang on a second. Okay. All right. So what do we suspect? We suspect buying pressure that will occur at the edge of the range. So if you're trading the 1-hour chart, this is the last area of heavy congestion, right? 3 hours in this zone. You could take a long at 6,300. Your stop would be a little squishy, so I would take the micro if I'm getting in here. Otherwise, you wait to the bottom of the extended range using super trend as your support, okay? And that floor would be around 62.90 to 62.87. Remember that area between 62.75 and 62.85, a lot of arguing going on there. So if you want to be very particular about your trades, I would certainly wait for that number. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart on the NQ. A lot of inventory accumulation here, right? We continue to make higher lows. We retested a high last night. Was that last night? No. Yesterday during the trading day, it was a double top formation, old resistance, new support. Tells us our buying zone in this big event, 22,976 into old resistance. That's all that we can do. Manage the risk from there. And that's what we would stare down. Trend certainly up on the 4-hour. Let's take a look at the 1-hour, showing the same congestion. We've got our average daily range events walking up. You can see high, higher, high, higher, high, low, higher, low, higher, low. So price action is still buying the dips. Because there's so much rotation inside of this motion, however, You can see our moving average is flat. So if you're trying to figure out what are these charts doing, this range formation clearly tells you, hey, listen, they're still buying the dips. All right, so that being said, what do we want to stare down? Opening range for the NQ. High, 23,065.25. Low, 23,033.25. We broke the bottom and the top. Remember, the trading formation says old resistance, new support. That creates the buying formation into prior resistance. So this is a place where we would take a trade off. Now, if you are thinking to yourself, wait, I think this chart's got more upside, what can I do? That's going to be something that you'd need to collapse onto a tighter time frame and say, wait a second, where's my heavy congestion? Hourly heavy congestion is at 23,022. That's the low of the opening range. I'd be careful there because it broke into the heavy congestion area that we accumulated in over 2 days ago. All right, just as a side note, here's what the candle formations are doing on the daily in general, right? Big candlestick, broke down, immediately recovered, right? Old resistance, choppy, messy old resistance, new support, inside candlestick, break out. This, clearly, it looks like upside action to me, for sure. Let's take a look at the YM. All right, the YM, very sideways. Notice this trend event looks a little bit different. This is the first higher low it's shown in several days, bringing support action events at around 43,320 if we have any kind of drift. Job numbers today going to be pretty important in my mind. They really are. And so what we want to do, pay attention. All right, 8:30, it's going to come. Deep flushes, going to be buy zones. They are continuing to buy the dips in here, no doubt about it. It's been really a very hard area to short. So trade with the relative trend, right? Is this kind of an ugly cup and handle on the hourly chart? Potentially. The opening range, let's go here. Opening range high, 44,764. Opening range low, 44,706. So really tight opening range. Lost the low edge of that opening range formation, and it went down into the point of control. That's what this yellow line is. It tells us where the most contracts have been traded. It's also a very messy support and old resistance area, right? Resistance, and then breaks through as support, gives us that buying zone for the pre-market at 44,586. All right, let's see what the trade action gives us. What is trend? It's down, right? But this is the first day that we've had our average daily range lift. And so could be that we are going to try and find a floor here. I like the area around that low edge of 44,400, 44,350. Deep dips in the jobs number event will give us buying zones. I don't know how the market's going to respond to the jobs number. I really don't. I mean, I literally have no idea. All we can do is manage our risk, and I would say stay out of it until it gets reflexive. Watch for the key areas of heavy inventory accumulation and position there in the chart. All right. Let's go to micro Bitcoin. 4-hour chart. A lot of people have been waiting for the break of 110,000. We could see buyers there. Also, trend largely up, right? Here's our trend. Do I not have, why does this reserve, this is a very interesting chart. I try every time I set an alert here, it disappears. It's completely bizarre. All right, so we did breach the top of that average daily range in the at the end of the day yesterday. Very big buying pressure event. I don't know if it was a buying to cover from shorts who have been saying, hey, listen, 110,500 looks like the top of the range. I thought it was. There was a quick trade at 110,300. I talked about it yesterday. It came down into 109,000 or so. Quick snap trade. Buyers immediately came to the fore and started picking price action up. Let's take a look at the hourly chart. Opening range high, 112,015. Opening range low, 111,355. Support floor just getting broken. So, what does that say? Well, they bought it. They're either trying to shake out the longs or they're going to take a short all the way back into the prior area of inventory accumulation. It is a coin toss. Because micro Bitcoin has so many, it's an easy chart to trade in my mind in terms of risk. The micro Bitcoin allows you to do anything you like. You could say, hey, I'm going to try long here, and if it loses the low edge of the prior candlestick formation that everything's been sitting inside, you can turn it into a sell stop and take the quick short down into the point of control that we're seeing here around 109,900. Again, sticky, and we've only got 10 minutes before that trend event. Call resistance up at 112,500. Super trend showing that price action is getting lower resistances. It just changed direction, so lower resistances areas, last areas of support from the super trend actually show the closing area of the VWAP for the chart, which is 110,642 from yesterday. Messy. All right, let's go to oil. So I put a long in oil at $67.51, right? This rocketed up. I covered, right? I covered the trade. Notice it's the point of control on that 1 hour chart. If we go a little wider, the point of control is well below us. Remember, this volume profile adjusts for the visible range of the price action that we are seeing on the 4 hour chart. And so I think this is like 50 days or something like that. But accumulation, inventory accumulation, old resistance, comes back in, new support, old resistance, comes back into that put support line at 66.90, and now we're in inventory accumulation again. I have no idea which way this chart goes, but if we go to the 1 hour, trend is trying to change direction. If we look at the 1 hour, we can see this is a very heavy compression zone, right? Range formations all the way to the base of 67.92. Now, trend is up. Average daily range showing higher lows and higher highs. So if we're thinking, what trade do I have with trend up, higher lows, higher highs, it would be a little bit hard to take a short right at this moving average or heavy congestion. I would wait to see how it expands on the top end of the range. There's a lot of potential geopolitical pressure. If the jobs number comes in weak, there are all kinds of things that could rotate oil around. The big picture is this zone here, $67.50, $67.50. That's the floor of support currently. That's going to make a nice long event to move back up into the range. Notice it just tested this zone at the low of the average daily range and then rocketed right back up into the space. So actually that is the super trend break, and it immediately recovered because the moving average is up. I would say this would be a hard short because it falls into the heavy congestion. You could try it with micros. Okay, Opening range high, $68.34. Opening range low, $68.26. That might be the actual zone to consider the short formation. Notice these pale blue, I don't know, cyan, whatever color that is the value area, and the value area high right around that area seems like a pretty good place to stage a short if price action continues to rotate down. But I would rather wait for old resistance right here to confirm as new support before I went long. Oil is very messy today. You got to be careful. Gold. Let's take a look at this one. Gold also very landlocked in a wide range formation. If you're just staring at the candlesticks, right? Let me hide the indicators. If you're just staring at the candlesticks, you can see there's some downward pressure, right? But buyers are coming in from underneath. And I think this is going to be a pervasive buy for price action in general. Okay? So, if we go to the hourly charts, what have we seen? Opening range high, $3,328.80. Low, $3,321.40. All right? We have held the low of the opening range. We came in, tested value area low. That's around 3,323. And we're bouncing off of a floor of heavy support. Now, we've dipped into the range. The VWAP is a little flat. We've been spending time above and below. If you wanted to consider a short, I would say $3,340 would be the area to watch. We have the moving average that's acting like support right now, so it's very mixed. On top of that, super trend showing higher levels of support, and we have our first higher low on our average daily range, but you can see a little bit of price compression here. High end 3,350, low end 3,200. That's $150 of motion at $10 a tick. So, ton of cash sitting right in here. I would wait potentially for the low edge at $3,307. I think Hogue went long with the Top Step team at around 3,302, 3,303. That is old resistance. That is potentially going to be new support. All right, let's go to SPY. Same sort of thing, sideways. Compression of energy, big range, above the moving average. Momentum is above zero, but very tepid. So we've got candlestick retracements. The movement here still suggests dips or buy zones. My thought is long action at 62.60. If it doesn't hold, it goes to the bottom of the frame at $620.10. So above $622.80 or so. Your stop, if you use just heavy congestion, that's going to be the region where price action has to hold, and that's around $621.75. Let's take a look at, whoopsie! Let's take a look at the Qs. Four-hour chart, inventory accumulation. Old inventory breakout event went for one candlestick to the north, came back, retested, old resistance, new support. Get your mind focused on that. Old resistance, new support. You watch the move, you see the trend, old resistance, new support. That's your buying area, and you just wait it out until the next zone. And you can do this on any time frame. Any time frame. You can do it on the 5-minute, the 15-minute, the 3-minute. What ends up happening is the amount of risk and how many times you will move in and out of a trade. That's the only thing that changes. So, building inventory in the early part of the morning, we've got 12 hours of sideways motion here from peak to trough. If we go to the hourly chart, opening range high, 55 $556.21, opening range low, $555.51, and we've broken on both sides of it. Could it be a megaphone event? Potentially, but our job is to look for old resistance that becomes support. And so easily, if we see this break and then a fade, we can put our order in here and say, you know what, I'm going to buy it here. My stop is going to be at the base of the super trend support, maybe just a little bit below, old resistance, new support. So it's walking up the framework. Just zoom in to price action compression and expansion, price action compression and expansion. Whatever direction it goes in, that's how we move it, okay? Good luck today. I'll see you on the streams. I'm on Lunchbox. Wow, let's hope this throat works before then. I'm on Lunchbox trading today. We'll be working through mechanics of about 5 different charts and taking a look at all kinds of things. So I'll see you folks then. Take care.